Hello, my name is Jkrutko, and this is a presentation on my instructional needs analysis and how to conduct an instructional needs analysis. For this project, I did a needs analysis for a Fortune 500 company, specifically for a sales training organization of about 52 people. And this organization does training for life insurance agents. And I was told that we needed to do a web course training on a quoting software tool for the life insurance products. And absolutely, I was told we need training. And I didn't want to move forward until I did some footwork and determined that training really was indeed an appropriate solution, and also to understand what the learner needs were and what their learning preferences were. So here's what we did. We took a look at some extant data, and that included some ad hoc reports from our help desk. We have an internal sales desk, and these folks are contacted on a routine basis from our agents. And often those calls are very much related to the software program that I was told we needed to create the training on. So I wanted to take a look at those reports and see exactly what issues people were calling in about. I also observed the learners in a training session that was on site where I actually work. And in that training session, we did a module on the quoting tool. And I observed the learners in that scenario to see what their knowledge level was, what kind of questions they had, and how well that training was conducted and how well it met their needs. I also did some interviews, and this included interviews with the training team who put on those workshops. It included interviews with the folks who were on that internal help desk, and I also did interviews with sales management. So my hope was, between interviewing all three of those groups, I'd really get a good feel for what their perspective was on what the learner needs were, where there might be some skill gaps before, during, and even after they attend our workshops. And finally, I did a learner survey. I used a tool called wufoo.com. It's WUFOO. And with that, I had 10 questions. They were really geared toward their knowledge, their skill level of the software, and also their learning preferences. And then what we learned was that the interviewees were mostly in agreement on what the learners needed and what the true issues were. However, the learners tended to disagree with the interviewees, not in every instance, but on some accounts. So that made the data analysis a little challenging. And finally, the most significant thing that I discovered was that there are some serious non-training issues. And one of those is that the agents are expected to focus on property and casualty insurance and not so much on life insurance. So if they're not focusing on life insurance, they're not going to be so concerned about even using the software tool. So when they do learn it, they're probably not going to remember as much because they're not as concerned about it. So that's one issue that really needs to be resolved, and I don't know what impact I'm going to have, but we shall see. So how to apply the needs analysis? Guiding questions must be established at the forefront based on the business needs, the performance needs, the learning needs, and the learner needs. And in doing so, you can establish questions to use throughout all of your data collection methods. These collection methods must be consistent. For instance, if you have qualitative data that you're collecting from multiple sources, you want to make sure that you're asking very similar questions so that comparison can be made between all of those different sources. Finally, one thing I noted, and it may not be appropriate for all needs analyses, but the learner surveys, if they're conducted first, they can really help to guide the questions that you ask the other groups. So in my instance, if I had done the survey first, I would have had a better idea of what to ask in my interviews. Allow plenty of time. Thank you.